The recording has started. A couple updates from last time. I got a 4080 Super, and so hopefully my performance and what we end up seeing on the left side of our recording tonight will be much cleaner, and I'll be able to complain less about performance this time. Still haven't gotten Spectrum out to talk to upgrade my gear, so we're still doing these recordings and uploading them later. So apologies for not being live when we're live. Aside from that, it's Sunday for the swap shows, so Chariot is flying 6 when he normally flies 5, and Leb is flying 5 when he normally flies 6, so be kind to us. But since BrotherLeb is, in fact, the flight lead, since he's 5, I'm handing it over to him. BrotherLeb, your show.
All right. Quick update for me on my setup side. No different gear or hardware, but I did a little trick that actually Chariot found to update to use DLSS, and I tested it, and it worked pretty well. So I'm going to try it at an air show. So we'll see how that goes. I don't know that it will be visible in the stream, but if it is, hopefully we will be able to check. Yeah, so let's brief this thing. This is a Sunday show at Tinian Airfield. Our weather brief is wind is 080 for 12 knots, 7-mile visibility, clouds scattered, 4,000 scattered, another scattered layer, 23 to 25, and a broken layer at like 40 or something. It's like way the hell up there. Temperature is 29, dew point 23, altimeter setting 290. We will be, let's see, right turn, hold on, nope. Left turn out of Chalks, left turn down a taxiway until we take a right turn onto, I think it's Bravo 2 that kind of hooks around, or that might be Alpha.
Bravo to Charlie.
Anyway, yeah, Alpha to Charlie.
Bravo to Charlie.
Bravo to Charlie. Okay, so Bravo to Charlie. So Alpha must be on the other side. Anyway, yeah, Bravo to Charlie, and then we'll hold short, and then we'll taxi on for a standard solo takeoff maneuver and a standard show. It will be a right turnout from the Delta breakout at the end of the show for a pitch up brake to land, runway 08, and it'll be a left split for that. Left pitch up brake, left split. Trying to think if there's any. Oh, altitude for the vertical pitch. We'll keep it at 100, as we have done for the last 2 shows.
100.
I'm trying to think. There was something I was supposed to remember and brief, and I didn't write it down.
Yep. I remember there was.
It down. Yep, there's totally something that we did in the debrief, and I don't remember what it is. So maybe I'll remember when we're flying it. Maybe I won't. Anyway, that's on me if I don't remember whatever it was, and then we get to the debrief and we're like, "That's what it was, you idiot." But yeah, that's on me for that. Any other notes?
Let me talk today. So think about that a little bit. I'll call the clears for our opposing maneuvers. The altitude for the loop break cross is going to be 150. And the there was one. Oh yeah. Section high alpha. We are going to pull to the set between 140 and 120. It varies depending on wind.
Okay.
So just when we approach 140, just be ready.
Got it. I mean, I probably won't even know, but yeah.
All right. That's. Let me think through. That's it for me.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, let's go have a good show. Ready, break.
Switch inputs.
Yep, read you loud and clear. How me?
5 of 5.
Okay.
The stream doesn't have me yet. Alright, now the stream has me.
Mouse. Cool. I have a mouse.
Let's see. I have you. You have me. I have you on visual. You have me on visual. Well, you don't. I mean, you will eventually. So minimize that. Close that. DTC is open. Bridge is running.
Check my switches real quick. Check. That looks good. Okay, cool. Let me know when you're ready for unpause.
Goddamn triangle in my viewpoint.
Oh, hold on, actually.
I'm probably gonna try the quad views thing to see if I can get that triangle to go away.
Yeah.
But like, I'm so tweaked out on OpenXR that like I'm a little fearful I'm gonna lose performance due to it. Alright, I'm ready to unpause whenever you are.
Alright, I'm pausing in 3, 2, 1, mark. Okay. Let me know when you're ready to start.
Goodness. Both of us with our hair dryers.
Yeah.
Welcome to the modern day, right? This is what we all asked for. Alright, Chariot's ready for startup.
Battery on, APU on, standby, canopy.
Chariot.
Canopy, 3, 2, 1, mark. Standby, right engine crank. Oh, that sound is screwed up. 3, 2, 1, mark. Standby, right engine forward.
Chariot.
3, 2, 1, mark. Standby, left engine crank.
Chariot.
Roll left.
Alright, left engine crank. In 3, 2, 1, mark.
Chariot.
Standby, left engine forward.
Chariot.
In 3, 2, 1, mark. Standby, FCS.
Chariot.
FCS in 3, 2, 1, mark.
And test.
In test. Okay. Options, audio. FCS's go.
Chariot's FCS's go.
Leb's IFA is holding DTC.
Chariot.
Oh, weird.
Leb's of tree, come on.
Chariot's of tree on 1.
Discord check.
Good check.
Alright, takeoff check.
Chariot.
Check your smoke pressure on. Check your trim set. Check your heading, my heading 125. Check your altimeter set 296. 1 for center point elevation of 0 feet. Check your barrel warning is 0. Check your FCS 12, 30, 30, 30 down 2. Check your fuel. Seat armed. Lights out.
Chariot 296-1.
So we're going to adjust that just a smidgen to 296.0.
Chariot.
Alright, check your smoke pressure on. Smoke on. Smoke off.
Good smoke. Good afternoon, Lab. Updated winds are 080 at 12. Altimeter is 2990 for a corrected altimeter of 2960 for a corrected center point elevation of 0 feet and a density altitude of 276 feet. Lab, squawk 1205. Chariot, squawk 1206. You are cleared to taxi left out of Chalks, left out of parking, right on Bravo, left on Charlie. For lineup and wait, runway 08.
Right on Bravo, left on Charlie, line up and wait 08. Think smoke.
Correction, lineup and wait 26.
Line up wait 26. Thanks smoke. Alright, check your parking brakes off. We're powering up to 75%. Off brakes now. Come left. Okay. Easing power 72. Come left. Okay, stay true.
Sure.
Easing power 68, let it roll. Coming right, okay, give me a 2 on the right.
Chariot.
Power 70. Chariot, go line abreast.
Chariot.
Easing power 68, coming left, okay. Little brakes, easy brakes, a little more brakes, brakes. Take off checks.
Chariot.
Check your lights are off. Check your landing light is off. Check your flaps are set. Half mine are auto. Check your waypoint is correct and in the box. Waypoint 1 at 0.7 mile. Check your altimeter set 29060 and check your altimeter is set to Barrow and set 29060. Check your dispenser is bypassed. Check your seat is armed. Check your heading. My heading 035.
Chariot. Comms.
Switch at 8 com 1. What's up 8 com 1?
Chariot.
Alrighty. We're ready for takeoff. Let's check your parking brake off. Run them up to 72% off. Brakes now. Chariot tap.
Chariot touch. Coming easy left.
Coming left. Okay. A little brakes. Easy brakes. A little more brakes. Brakes. So we're cleared for takeoff. Updated winds are 080 for 12.
Tailwind.
R maneuver. Section takeoff maneuver.
Chariot.
Let's run up.
Off brakes now. Blowers ready now. Blowers ready now.
See ya.
Ready, hit it.
Clear.
Wings level. Blowers ready now. Smoke on. Smoke off. Chair's clear.
Leb is clear. 2.0.
1.8. Three miles mark. 2.5. 4 miles mark.
Let me know when you're beam.
Beam.
Let me know when you can dig mark.
Couldn't take it.
Stand by mark.
4 miles, mark 350.
About a quarter mile behind. Leb's in for the right. Knife it.
Chariot's in right now, 53 miles, mark 380. Two miles, mark 405.
Smoke on.
Got it?
Smoke off. Ready, hit it.
There's it.
Stand by, roll, and pull. Stand by, roll. Stand by, roll. Stand by, roll.
There's it.
Roll. Slow the clear and clearing in front of the crowd for the inverted to inverted. To my mark.
Match. Two miles mark. 2.5. 4 miles mark.
Let me know when you're beam.
A beam.
American Mark.
Go and take it.
Stand by. Mark.
4 miles, Mark 395.
Lives in left inverted.
Trace in left inverted. 3 miles, Mark 400. Two miles, Mark 400.
Ready, hit it.
All right.
Surround.
Contact.
Looking good. Little drive. Ready.
Trace right.
All right.
Roll. And pull. 350. Rolling up. And let's clear behind the crowd for the shoot the Fortis.
Contact.
Easing lots of power. 380. 360. 350. Rolling out 340. 325.
Overshoot.
310. 300. Slows behind the crowd, setting up the Fortis.
Chariot.
We're coming left, adding power. Comes the pole. Stand by the gear. Gear. Having a little more power, a little further left, and a little more pull. A little more power, a little more pull. Ease in the pull. Rolling out the Fortis. Ease in a little power.
Chariot.
Leb's rolling in.
Chariot. Clear.
A little more. Adding power. Adding more power. Center point pushing out.
Clear.
Rolling out.
Sure, sir.
Coming up. Set. Stand by the gear. Gear. Hook.
Damn it.
Chariot. Knock it off.
Sure, sir.
Leb is clear. And clearing behind the crowd for the MRT.
Chariot, stay 8-7.
Let's say 8-9.
Good profile, Leb.
Talk about it in the debrief. Leb is arcing 5 miles for the MRT.
Chariot.
Let's turn in 5 miles. MRT.
Chariot.
Could be a little late. That was a Mark 360. Three miles, Mark 348. Two miles, Mark 352. 1.5 miles MRT. 1 mile, Mark 348. Burners ready now. Ready, hit it. Good entry. A little more pull. And kick it.
Pushing out. Leveling 2,000, coming right.
Connect.
Rolling at 170. Oh, okay. Smoke on. Smoke off. Little drive. 335.
Connect.
350. 360.
You got
So
two.
around the crowd setting up the OMRT.
You got two, Leb.
Left coming right comes the pull. A little more pull. What are we looking for? 350. Ease in the pull. Rolling out. 3 right. Easing, a little power, a little pull to level. Smoke on, left lead.
Chariot. Easing a little power. A little pull. Adding power. 100 low.
Smoke off. Ready, hit it. Smoke on. Twenty slope.
On numbers. Connect.
Numbers. Little inboard. Merge. Stand by, roll. Pull to 40. Stand by, roll. Clear.
Sure, sir.
Roll.
Sure, sir.
Roll. Slows are clearing in front of the crowd for the vertical pitch.
Chariot, vertical pitch.
For the horizontal rolls, 3.7.
4 miles mark.
Let me know when you're beam.
A beam.
I'm gonna continue.
Go and take it.
Stand by, mark it.
Four miles, mark 405.
Leb's in for the left horizontals.
Chariot's in left overalls. 3 miles, mark 403. Two miles, mark 398.
Smoke on.
Contact.
Little pull. Ready. Hit.
Sure, sir.
Burners. Pull. Stand by, roll. And burners, pull. Rolling out. Let's clear 7-3.
Chariot's clear 6-4.
Leb's clearing behind the crowd for the sneak to vertical.
Chariot.
State 7-2.
Chariot 7-3.
And Leb is arcing 5 miles for the sneak to vertical.
Chariot.
Leb's turning 5 miles, sneak to vertical.
Chariot.
4 miles, mark .76.
Half mile ahead.
3 miles, mark .78.
Quarter mile ahead.
2 miles, mark .83.
Match.
1 mile, mark .85, burners.
Smoke on.
Clear 90.
Ready in it. Stand by, roll. $10,000 class of factor.
Factor high show.
High show clears.
The Delta's in for the line of breath loop. Three miles, mark.
Chairs clear behind the crowd 10.
Left. Smoke on. And up we go, a little pull, a little more pull. Vertical 5-5. Easing the pull, easing power, easing more pull and more power. Horizon now 8-8. Easing lots of power. Comes the pull. A little more pull. Easing a little more power. Easing the pull. Easing more pull. Adding power. Little drive. Adding more power. Smoke off. Go down the stairs. Left detach. Left detach, boss. Let me know when you're a beam.
A beam.
Let me know when you can do mark.
Go ahead and take it.
Stand by. Mark it.
4 miles, mark 340.
Left's in for the right. 4 point.
Turns in right, 4 point. 3 miles, mark 400. Two miles, mark 404.
Smoke on.
Correct.
Smoke on. Ready. Hit it.
1,
All
2,
right, all right.
3, 4. Cheers, sir.
Stand by. Roll and pull. Stand by. Roll. Stand by. Roll. Stand.
Cheers, sir.
Roll. That's all going in front of the crowd for the opposing vertical pitch.
Chariot.
2 mile mark.
2.2.
Slop it pop over here.
3 miles, mark. I'm just trying to stay ahead of the show. 3.5 mark.
Yep.
4 miles, mark.
Let me know when you're beam.
A beam.
Let me know you can take mark.
Go ahead and take it.
Stand by. Mark it.
4 miles, mark 400.
Left's in for the left vertical pitch.
Trace and left vertical pitch. 3 miles, mark 400.
100 shade.
Chariot. Two miles, mark 400.
Smoke off.
Contact.
Ready, hit it. 60.
Overshoot.
Stand by. A roll. And pull. Power's idle. 45, 40, 35, 30. Horizon. Now 8, 8.
7-8.
Power's in. Contact.
Blind.
Cloud layer.
Contact.
Looking okay. 1.5 mark.
Quarter ahead.
.5 mark. Little pull, ready, hit.
All right,
Cruiser.
all right.
Stand by, roll. Nipple. Stand by, roll. That's all the green behind the crowd for the inverted takeover.
Turret's coming left. 375. 380 and holding 380 east and some pull roll on some bank. Coming for the left, a little more pull. Easable. Roll out for the inverted tuck of a roll.
I have to check.
Chariot. We're out wide. We're coming back left. Coming further left, a little more pull. Adding a little power. We're at the 90 for the inverted tug overall.
Left.
Easing the pull and rolling out. The inverted tuck over roll, easing a little power. 3 miles mark. A little pull. Ready, hit it. Smoke on. Pull out, BrotherLeb. A little drive, ready, hit it. Here's her.
There. Swing up. Stand by, roll. Pull to 10 degrees. Stand by, roll. Rolling out. Coming left.
Turret's inside low.
Contact.
Easable. Rolling out. 330, coming left. 345. Easing the power to hold 350. Easing more power. Easing the pull. Rolling out. Souls upon the ground, setting up the section high alpha.
Yeah, teacher.
Chariot. Coming back left. And rolling out. Easing power to idle, coming left. Coming further left comes the pull. Stand by the boards. Rolling out a little bank. And easing the pull. We're at the 90 for the section half.
Left.
Stand by the boards. Coming further left. Easing the pull. Rolling out the section high alpha 170. 160 easing power to idle. 150. 140. And pull into the set. Setting it. Smoke on. Adding power. We're flying it.
Love no maneuver.
Center point. Chariot's waving off. I'm pulling to 60. Rolling. Chariot's there.
Contact, I'm crossing shoreline right behind you.
Chariot's easy power rolling out.
To your left 9 low. 320 coming left.
Contact.
330. Little pull. 340. Holding 350. There's 350. Easing the pull and rolling out. Easing a little power. Easing more power. 355. Close behind the car, setting up the water.
Chariot, you'll have two low.
Left. Little and close. We're coming right, adding a little power. Come further right comes the pull. A little more left. Sorry, a little more pull. A little more pull. Ease in the pull. Roll and out the line of rest. 2.5 Mach. A little more. 2 miles. Mark smoke. On. 1.5 Mark. 1 mile mark. Half mile mark. Ready. Hit it. Smoke off. Roll and pull.
Connect.
Easing the pull and rolling out. Easing lots of power. 380. Little pull. 370. 360. Adding power to hold. 360. And the Delta's behind the crowd, setting up the Delta roll. Stick 4-5.
Chariot 47.
Coming left.
You got 6 miles.
Boss coming further left. Hold it. Hold. Pull. A little further left. And a little more. Pull. Delta's in the left-hand turn, setting up the Delta roll. Easing power. A little more. Pull. Easing more. Power. Easing the pull. Rolling out the Delta roll 4 miles.
Chariot.
Smoke on and up we go. A little pull, a little fast. Okay. comes the pull, easing power, easing more power, little roll out, little more pull, easing more power, we're coming left,
There we go.
a little further left, adding a little power, adding more power. Comes the pull, a little further left. Delta to the left-hand turn, setting up the fleur-de-lis.
Try it.
A little further left. And a little more pull. Easing power. Smoke off. A little more pull. Easing the pull. And rolling out the fleur-de-lis.
Try it.
Board.
Try it.
Little pull up. We go adding a little power. Smoke on. Ready.
Ready, roll!
So we're off. Roll. Pull.
Ease will roll out.
Crossing your nose at 480. Ease the pull and rolling out 470. Coming back right 460. Adding power 450. Comes the pull 450.
Got two left.
Spoke up. Ease of the pull, adding power. Rolling out. Up we go. Okay. Into the hold. Okay. Easing power. Into the hold. Smoke off. Go get him.
Try it. Sure, it's leveling out. 2.5060 at 430.
Contact.
Coming right. Comes the pull. 420 adding a little power. A little more pull. We're in a right-hand turn for the loop right cross.
Left.
Chariots 150. Easing the pull.
Left 300.
Easing a little power. 430.
You got 6 cross.
Chariot coming further right. A little more pull. Ease of the ball. Roll it out. The loop break cross. Up we go. Adding power. A little more pull. Vertical 5-2. Horizon now 6-8. Rudder brake. Inboard. Smoke off. Pulling. 0.5 mark 320. 1 mile mark 350. 1.5, mark 400. 2 miles, mark 400. 2.5, mark swag. Up we go. 4G mark. Vertical 458 alpha. Horizon now 69 powers idle.
Ain't too late.
45, 55, 65, roll it. 3 miles, mark 330. Pulling. 2.5, mark 385. 2 miles, mark 400. 1.5, mark 400. 1 mile, mark 400. Half mile, mark 400. Smoke off. Nice work. Coming left, easing lots of power. A little pull. 370. 350, adding power to hold.
Contact.
Easing some pull, roll it out some bank. Delta's in front of the crowd, setting up the Delta roll. Setting up the Delta breakout. It'll be a right-hand turn out of the Delta breakout.
Lab.
345. $340, coming further left, a little more pull. 335. $330. We're at the 90 for the Delta breakout.
You got 6 miles.
Boss. Coming further left. Easing lots of power. A little pull. Easing the pull and rolling out. The Delta breakout. Smoke on. On. A little pull. Ready to break. Set. Smoke off. Tracer.
Clear. This is 170 at 2,280. Coming right.
Contact.
310. 320. 330. 340. 345. There's 350, home 350. A little further right. He's a little power. 354. Comes the pull. Adding a little power. Easing out some pull. Easing out more. Pull. 350.
You got 6 miles. You got 6 miles.
Boss, smoke on. A little further right and a little bit of pull. We're in from the right for the Delta. Pitch up, break to land, left break.
Trade left, right kick.
Ease in the pull. Rolling out. A little more. a little pull to level. Adding a little power. Adding more power. Left pitch up brake. Start going. Mark. Boss braking.
Trace braking.
Easing the bolt and rolling out. 285.
Trace rolling at 285.
Little low.
No kidding.
And smoke. Off. Gear flat. 290. Coming left 275. Chariot. 250 Chariot. 220 Chariot. Gear down. Flaps down. Hook up board up for the left split runway. 08.
Chariot's in the green.
190. 170 Chariot. 150 Chariot. And 140 Chariot working an angle all the way.
150. 140 angle. One potato 2, 3 potato 4, 5 potato 6, 7 potato 8, 9 potato. Trace again. Check smoke. Chariots. Okay, lab.
Left. Landing check.
Chariot.
Check your smoke pressure off. Check your tabs. Check your flaps auto. Check your landing light is off. Reset your trim and safety seat.
Chariot.
We'll go well clear on Charlie for solo clear. Line and trail. Then, let's see, taxi Bravo, left turn right 45s to 125 into chocks.
Chariot, all that.
All right, take park brakes off. Powering up to 75% off brakes now. Easing power 70. Coming right. Okay.
Dusney, Chariot, lab.
Thanks, Chariot. Nice flight.
Definitely improved.
Coming easy right. Easing power to 68 lateral. We're coming easy right. Give me 2 on the right wing.
Chariot.
Roger's meowing outside the door.
It's the best.
Easy brakes. Off. Brakes. Now. Coming left. Okay, go well clear.
Turret's well clear.
Little brakes. A little more brakes. Coming left. We're coming right for parking. Okay. 125. Little brakes, easy brakes, little brakes, brakes. Crap, overshot. Stand by, can't be an engine.
Chariot.
3, 2, 1, mark. And that's show.
That's a show.
Let's debrief it.
Chariot.
BrotherLeb, you got me? BrotherLeb, you got me?
I'm clear.
Nice work. That was improvement.
Yeah, it's far from good.
Yeah.
But it was definitely an improvement.
Yeah. There's so much to fix, but considering where we were last time, I feel way better about that.
That's good. Yeah.
There are definitely some things that I didn't do as well, but
Well, yes. Yes, yes.
there are definitely things I did better.
You're all like, much better profile on the Fortis. I was like, I don't feel like that's true.
Attack view, DCS, all the things. Tinian Airfield. Hey, just be happy we didn't do this on a remote show site.
Yep.
Though in a way we kind of do with where we put our center points now.
Yeah.
DCS.
I kept lining up on that brown
Yeah.
strip. That was my bad.
I saw you over there and I was like, is he just like giving space because he's not comfortable?
No, I just, it's like, it's a line. I'm going to line up on the line.
Okay, I'm ready to debrief whenever you are.
All right, let's do it.
Hello, monitor? No? Pause. There. Okay, we're back. Do your thing.
All right, that was a show at Tinian, a Sunday show, and we did not set any goals for that show. That was my bad in the beginning of the briefing. So I don't know if you had any. I didn't really going into it other than just trying to not run over you on comms, which I think I'll give myself a C+ for. There were a couple of points, but for the most part, I tried to stay off the freak when you were supposed to be on it. Yeah.
My goal was to do predictable inbounds and be predictable, like joined up at the by the 90 for all of the section maneuvers. And for the first one, I'll give myself a C+, and for the second one, I'll give myself a B+.
Nice. All right, so taxi seemed fine to me.
Yeah.
The takeoff maneuver was much more docile, but also a little less cool looking, probably, for me. And then I completely got out of whack on the profile, departing the field. It was slow and probably looked cool, but it was just not what I was supposed to be doing. And I honestly had trouble remembering. So that's a failure just for not knowing the numbers that I needed to hit. And so consequently, I did not hit them. How about you?
Yeah, this was a good one. I sank a little bit in the. Okay. What am I saying? Yeah, gear was fine. Flaps were also fine, but I forgot to put burner in. Full burn in at 130, so I was slow, which it just took me longer to go up over the top, which was fine. Just the Immelman happened further away from the crowd, so I'd take a note from that one. I eased the AOA to level off and got the burners going. And flew more or less down the field with a little bit of rudder input because of the wind. Sunk a little bit, but I'll still take it. So I'd give myself B.
All right, yeah, so for the knife edge, I was so far out of where I was supposed to be for the setup of that when you called 4 miles, and then I was like, well, if I make him wait till I'm a beam, this is never going to happen. So I just called it and tried to fix it, and I almost got in. My actual knife edge roll and the clears were pretty sloppy because I was carrying a little too much speed trying to catch you up going into the box. And I think I was just a little frazzled from how out of where I normally should be. I was. So the actual inside the box maneuver, though, I would probably give myself a C for that. But yeah, the not being in the right place, it's just sort of like a domino effect of not having the numbers right for the takeoff maneuvers. So yeah, no further notes there.
As far as I'm aware for this one, I was on time with my calls, like the cadence that I had to start developing last show. And I was in the right place per center point. I pulled and rolled when you called it instead of waiting for the visual. And my clears were okay. So I would give myself a B+ on this one.
It's a pretty good grade. All right, well done. Let's see. So the inverted to inverted, I got a little tangled with the comms coming inbound, and then I was still kind of recovering mentally from being in the wrong spot for the previous maneuver, being so far behind. But I was able to kind of get it collected. I remember thinking ahead of time that, oh, I need to remember to roll the opposite direction that I typically do. But I think I just, my major note here, the rest of it was pretty okay. Might have been a little fast coming into the box, but the rest of it was good. Didn't lose too much altitude, was relatively stable. Roll behind crowd was good. But the big thing was just like I wasn't ahead of the show, so I couldn't remember what came after that. So I didn't get the hook down, and so my Fortis didn't ever have a hook down, and I didn't call the landing light for the that's kind of getting into the next maneuver, but I think it kind of relates. So there was a cascade effect there. So I would call the inverted to inverted maneuver itself, I give myself a B for that. But the bookends were not as clean, so it probably like averages out to like a C.
To 4 miles for me was a little late. But the rest of the inbounds were on, my altitude was on, and I made good adjustments. I think the hit actually might be on altitude. But I rolled before you called it, and pulled behind crowd before you called it. So, because of those two deductions, I'll give myself a B.
I think you're going to be a little low. We'll see. Okay, so just the funny thing I thought about is like when we're doing this show, I am so much more worried about everything outside the box. Inside the box is all stuff that's familiar. Outside the box is the stuff that's not. So it's almost like a relief once we get to that point.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, yeah. So I was carrying probably too much speed around that corner because I was again sort of just behind the show. So the setup for this was wrong. Didn't get the hook down. Didn't get the landing light on. Turn left. Timing was pretty good with that, and just a little more maneuvering in that turn than I'd like to do because it just makes it hard for you to hide the jet. Having flown 6 a bunch. Rollout was pretty good if a little close to center point. My roll in for the profile was a little better than last time. It's still just a little bit too much getting into your flight path, but it looks like you were anticipating that, which is good. I wasn't quite as stable as I wanted to be, as early as I wanted to be, but I was able to kind of get it settled. And then it just felt like this thing went really quickly. We were a little, like airspeed wise, slow, but it just felt like the whole maneuver was really fast. And I think that's just, again, because I was just behind the show. Rollout was pretty good. I wasn't quite as bang on that angle as I need to be for the left 45 before the gear and the hook. And I didn't have a hook down at least, so that was a good thing. So yeah, overall I'll give myself a C- for this. I think it's still passing. It's a better maneuver than I've done the past, but it just barely clears the bar because there was enough little problems within it.
Okay, for me, my rejoin was looking good, but I just didn't put in the brakes. I missed the brakes by like a second, so I oversped you and had to go wide to avoid conflict. I rejoined effectively and got in and dropped the gear at the right time and was in a really good position all the way around the corner. I backed off and rolled out in line with you. I'm curious to see, like, and I mean it, I was like right with your bank angle the whole time. I'm really curious to see what it's going to look like on the replay, because if it doesn't do that, I'm going to be pissed. I anticipated you crossing my flight path, so when you said you were going to roll in as you climbed, I started kicking left rudder. And you rolled to a place where I could get to. I was actually too far back. So if I were to do this again, I would actually not back up as much as I did and stay with you, but just move left and just kind of like stay in a left, like more or less where 6 flies, essentially, and try and stay in that, or where 5 flies, and kind of like stay in that area. But yeah, I caught you rolling, powered up, did a little bit of a climb, and then was in the right spot, but then lost track of where we were compared to center point. And so dropped back too early and was a little high on you the whole time. And then as you pushed out, I didn't stay with you there. And then your rollout, I think I actually was in a good spot. And then the coming left, I overbanked. And then I was all over the place with the switches. I missed my gear. I flipped everything the wrong way. It was a disaster. Fortunately, my gear was more or less up by the time that you called me clear. So I'd give myself a C- for that one. It was so close, but there's just enough problems with it that it does not get a passing grade.
Okay, MRT. A little late on the inbound. Speeds were better on the way in. The actual maneuver itself was pretty good. You give a lot more sugar calls in the middle of it, but I was pretty like task saturated, just trying to get the darn thing right. But yeah, the actual like numbers in the turn were good. I was actually just a hair fast, probably 310 or so, 315. But then the big thing is that like this, the up the hill comes, like all that stuff comes so quickly. So I don't think I pulled enough. So it's going to be a little shallow. Finally got it up there, but then I was too high, and so I didn't like that. There's no real turbo nose load of that. It's just sort of floated over the top. So I'm also I keep pulling power out. When I'm going up, like as I do the turbo nose low, and I need to not do that. So I need to keep the burners in. Yeah, but the big thing was just like leveling out that high up was a problem. So I would give myself a fail for that because it's like basically twice as high as I should be. Yep, nothing else.
My maneuver behind the crowd was good. I was set up in the right spot and at the right time. I second guessed myself because I've been early the last two times, so I cut power and did a maneuver and then came back in and was actually a little bit late. But I would consider that to be a decent place to be compared to early. But then, like you said, you had a ton of speed and a ton of power, so you went way further out than I was anticipating. So I had to chuck a bunch of power in and catch up to you around the corner. So all in all, I consider it a B minus. I think it's a passing grade, but still room for refinement over time, if we had time to refine over time.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so opposing MRT. This turn actually was pretty good and more on the numbers than it has been the last two times. I rolled out within 5 degrees of the angle we wanted to be on, a little low, so that was a problem, but like more or less on speed, was able to hand you lead. I was all over the shop of beam, so that was very floppy. Called the maneuver, didn't put in power again once I dropped back, which is something I forgot to do, and that was a note from last time, and I think I was a little too far behind you. But other than that, I was only about 20 knots slow on the around the corner, and I just held what I had and tried to keep it as consistent as possible to make it possible for you to get in, which it looked like you made the adjustments you needed to make because it felt like we crossed pretty darn close to center point. So good work on that. Yeah, it looks like it's gonna be a little left,
Yep.
maybe, but
It will.
so yeah, I got there a little early, but that was partly because I was just a little slow in the turn for the whole time. I think we also went outboard a little more than we should have, so maybe I'll adjust that for the future. But yeah, and then the clears were not my cleanest, but yeah, so I give myself overall. I give myself a B minus for that one. The big thing was just being so slow in that turn, but the rest of it was within. No. It's not. It's not a B minus. That's a C plus.
All right. This is the first time I've actually been in by the time we go into the turn, so I was not. I have never tried to match your bank angle in that turn, and I know that it's a quick roll, but I didn't anticipate how quick when I'm on your wing. So I didn't catch your bank angle. So I didn't match your bank angle for that turn. So I was playing a little bit to catch up at the turn, but I was in a good position when we rolled out. I was tucked in behind in a good spot. So, and since I've never been in that position, I didn't know how much power I needed to add up exiting. And the reality is like you say that you usually sling a shot forward. I've had trouble catching you. So maybe it's just whether that fact that we fly it differently. But in the future, I would have kept the power in and jumped up next to you and then loaded up. But I was a little behind and a little wide, but not enough to call. But I was wings level by the time you handed lead over to me, so made a couple of adjustments to sweeten the deal before we crossed center point, especially since we were low. We were a little nose low when you handed lead. So then my turn was good, and I was on the numbers. You said you were slow, and I realized, oh shoot, that means that his circle's going to be smaller than mine. So I horked it up to 5G, and brought it around faster and made a little bit of a teardrop shape, and ended up overcompensating. We're going to hit 3 or 4 left. But I'm proud of myself for actually making that happen because I realized what was going on in the adjustments I needed to make and just overdid it. So I'd consider that a good learning moment. The clears were good for me. I'd give myself a C plus. No, I'd give myself a flat C. I think that's just barely passing, but because of how far left we were, I think that's not. I would not consider that to be a positive experience.
Okay, so this was the horizontal rolls, which I called incorrectly. You're welcome in the future to just correct me instead of repeating back what I said that's wrong. I think I don't know what I would do, but I think that's something that 6 should be doing, is like also keeping track of that. Granted, like if we're, you know, entering the box, we do whatever dumb thing I said. But if we've got 4 miles to play with, go ahead and correct me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I figured it out. I was a little closer to in on this one. I've been early all 3 shows for most of these, and I was early this time. The first 2 maneuvers I was late, but the rest of them I was early, and I was early again. So it was a matter of trying to modulate throttle to get basically in the ballpark. The pull was okay. The rolls were fine. I didn't let us climb long enough, so the altitude was okay, but maybe I was just carrying a ton of speed.
Yep.
But I like the roll was like really snappy because I was still about 200 knots. And you can see because I'm like way the crap higher than you, and I was incorrect when I called my altitude. I was looking at my my fuel state already, and I only realized it when I called my fuel state because I was like, that's the same number. Wait a minute. So anyway, my altitude was much higher than I said. It was
Oh wow,
almost 990.
that's crazy.
I don't know how fast I was going.
I can. I can.
460 knots.
So the issue was at the point where we hit. I was still doing around 400 knots, and you're doing 0.68, which I don't have the conversion.
Yeah.
And you kept climbing.
Yeah.
So by the time we hit the burners and went up the hill, you're doing 0.72.
Yeah, I just didn't pull the power out once because I was trying to get the hit at center point,
Yep.
which I got close, but then I just didn't pull power out to adjust for it because at that point I was thinking about the next parts.
Yeah, that just takes having mental space to be able to. It's something I do as 5 all the time. I'm all over the power, like in the middle of maneuvers, like we're upside down, and I'm like bringing power out to get to match it with you. That just takes mental space, which you don't have yet.
Yep. Yeah. So yeah, no further notes there. I would give myself I think that one fails. I don't know if it would be a full F, but it's probably like a D.
So for me, the clear behind crowd is fine. I maintained some good speed coming in and did a good arc to try and be as predictable as possible for the inbounds. When you said vertical pitch, I was of 2 minds. I was like, do I correct him or did he mean vertical pitch? I'm assuming he didn't mean that, but like by the time I was thinking about that and like coming to a conclusion, I was gonna correct you at the 4, like when you called the maneuver at the 4 mile mark. If you kept calling vertical pitch, like that was my timer in my head. That was like at that point I'm gonna be like. Sure, it's in for the vertical pitch. But yeah, the rest of the inbounds were fine. I was a little high. I don't think I fixed it by the time we got to center point, and then I overpulled. Up the hill a little bit, which meant that I squatted off a little bit more speed, which made the altitude disparity even worse. And then I completely underrolled the poo out of this, and I knew it. So I'm facing outboard again. Just keeps happening here. I even looked over my shoulder, was like, shoot for the middle of the bay. That is the right angle. And when I pulled, it still pulled onto the point over here, which keeps happening. And so that's outboard.
Yeah, a thing. It's just the different side of the formation. Because we're only at 80 degrees, you
That's an
just
angled
because of the way
pull.
the
Yeah.
geometry works out, yeah, you actually angle the pull.
Yep.
So I don't pull a flat pull. I pull like I don't even know what it is.
Oh, I know
It's
that.
at this point,
It happens to me too as 5. It's just
yeah, it's just the opposite direction.
I just didn't fix it. So I don't know. It's like a C. It's fine. It's a fine maneuver. It's like catching a what? It's like catching a 2-wire. It's like you're okay, but you could do better.
Mm-hmm.
You got on the boat. Congrats. It's like kind of how I feel about it.
Okay, so yeah, the sneak to vertical roll. I think I just need to come to the away from crowd heading faster because I ended up going way too far outboard. And that was a couple of things when I'm like the MRT had the same problem. So that's just the thing I need to remember for the next time. Is like hit that away from crowd heading immediately, so that way I'm not like increasing a lot of extra travel. So it was just really slow to get to 4 miles. Speeds, and that was why you were so far ahead. So that was on me. Speeds were pretty good. I was a little slow because I think I was worried about. I don't know what I was worried about, but just a little slow. So I think 0.9 at the hit. Other than that, no further notes. Probably give that a C.
Mm-hmm.
Just barely passes.
I think if your turn-ins had been on parameter, I would have been in the right ballpark, probably still a little ahead. But as it was, I was 0.3 ahead, so I kept power out until we matched, at which point I was doing 0.15 Mach slower than you. So I chucked the burners in and got up to 0.86. No, I hit 0.9 by the time I went up the hill. But this was definitely the most dangerous sneak to vertical rolls we've had in a hot minute. That is just about as close as it ever wants to get. So that still way early, which is fascinating. I just have to fly this more to understand how the geometry works out over time. But still, 0.96 isn't fast enough because the rolls got pretty wobbly there towards the end. And then I pulled a little. I pulled at the 45 behind crowd left, so that wasn't great. That is a D for me. Even though like it's not about whether I do the numbers right. I'm flying off a 5, and yeah, so that's on me.
Yeah, I'm usually aiming for 0.3 behind 5.
Yeah, that was my goal to get there. And I thought that when at 2 miles, based upon our speed difference, that I could chuck the burners in and wouldn't get too far behind. But it turns out I was wrong. I was too far ahead still. Because so no, here's the thing. I wasn't ahead. I was matched with you as far as distance, but you were at 0.15 Mach ahead of me. So I guess I don't know.
Yeah. It doesn't feel like this should happen, but for whatever reason, for me, it's like if I've been ahead at any point, I basically don't ever go into burner because burner will probably put me ahead. But yeah, it was weird that you said that you got floppy on the roll. I can't remember that really ever happened. So interesting. I don't know what to tell you. That's just not something I'm used to.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, doesn't look too bad. Yeah, so line abreast loop. This was a better one, not that it really matters. I needed more pull on the back end earlier because it's a little lopsided. A little more pull on the front end and a little more pull on the back end, and probably a little ease a little later to kind of get back across center point to make it a little less lopsided. Anyway, okay, so posing for point. I waited longer, which was a better timing for getting in. I was a little slow on the way in, but I was able to kind of get there by the time we got into the box, though I was carrying more speed than you. Doesn't look like it. Anyway, I called the hit early because it felt like we were getting too close to center point, but I was wrong. There was just a hair of hang, and then I was all over the shop as far as like angles, like knife edge, inverted and stuff. So that was pretty sloppy. Clears were flat, but kind of on. Let's see. Doesn't look like the best. Yeah, overall, I'd probably give myself a C for that. It passes. Like the maneuver happened and it didn't. It did what it was supposed to do, but it was sloppy the whole way.
I'm proud of where I ended up set up before the 4-point. I think that it was a better place. I turned in probably a second too early, which meant that I think coming to 4 miles early is fine as long as I'm slow, and I was, but I think it was just a little too early. So was able to build up good speed on the inbounds at a measured rate, and then in the box. My 4-point itself was good. The hit's going to be low, and my clears were okay. There was one nasty roll, but C minus, I think, for that one. There's just it's a little too out of parameters still, in my opinion.
Okay, vertical pitch. Inbounds were pretty good. Had to do some speed stuff to get in there, but I think I was kind of getting there. I was a little worried about speed differential, but it looked like the hit was, what, 2, 3 left? Well, we'll see. We will see.
I think it is a 2 to 3 left, yeah.
Then I think I was worried about overspeed, but I didn't really know what to do to fix it at that point.
I don't know how you have so much chooch.
Hmm?
You just have a lot of.
Because
Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
I had a lot of because I was slow at 2 miles trying to let you get there, and then I had to bring a bunch of power back in to get there to get back by the time we got to where I don't know. It was a power setting thing as much as anything, less than an airspeed thing, which I'm finding affects 5 way more than it affects 6. So anyway, the big thing here is that I punched through a cloud on the way up, so when we came over the top, you couldn't see me because I was behind a cloud.
Yep.
So that was kind of wild. We kind of worked it out. You were a little ahead the whole way, is that right?
Yep.
Or behind
Ahead.
the whole way. And knowing what you know, what it's like to be in those positions. I'm sorry. I did keep in some speed going in to try and do what I could to fix it, but I think we're gonna be a little left on the hit as well. The second hit. Rolls were fine. Pull was fine. What would I give that? Yeah, C minus C.
Inbounds for me were fine. I had a good angle set up from the 4-point to allow for a smooth turn to allow me to maintain 400 knots through the turn for the setup. Yeah, we were. I could tell there's a little bit of a speed differential when we crossed, but I'm like, we haven't ever done anything to fix that in the past, so I just kind of stuck with it. I was a little ahead of your roll, but I was matched on your ladders, and I was 1,000 low. And And I've never had to fix early before as 6, so, and also I didn't see you for half the time, but it looked like once you punched through the clouds, we were more or less on plane, but then I was 0.3 ahead. So I brought the brakes in and was 0.3 ahead the whole way into the box, and when we did the rolls, I was at 340. Not the slowest we've had before, but yeah, it wasn't great. So I punched in burners to clear behind the crowd. Yeah, that's a D. So invert took over roll. I had the burners come behind the crowd, so I peeled those out and then came left, but still we ended up wide. So I didn't bring as much pull into the turn as I usually do, which meant that we lost a little bit of mileage to center point by the time we rolled out. So it was a little bit of a condensed timeline, which ain't great most of the time for 5. A roll to inverted was okay. There's a little bit of a push that got me a little high, which I'm not proud about. But then I was able to maintain a pretty decent flat. And then our hit didn't quite get enough nose high, and I underrolled it. That's a safety. The clears, I pulled more than you, and then I didn't pull enough, and so it's gonna look a little voopy from me going up the hill. But I think I was in the right spot the whole time. So I'll be interested to see how that looks. Because of the safety, it's an F. Yay!
Yeah, so I should have put you in at least pure pursuit around the corner. I just normally I'm like worried about overshooting, and that was not a problem in this case. So I thought I got on the turn early enough, and partly because you went so far behind crowd, I don't know. I just didn't identify what was going on, so I could have gotten in earlier. I got in with plenty of time, but it's just like little detail things. Turn behind crowd I was trying to figure out like where do I normally go to start to hide the jet, and was trying to work that out. So it's not the smoothest. And then once we started to roll out, I was like, I'm not going to worry about that now. I just want to make sure that I don't hit him, and I roll inverted, and pretty stable. I did that, and that helped a lot. I struggled to get into the right position, and again, not hiding the jet really at all, and didn't get quite far enough forward by the time the hit happened. Roll to 45 was fine. Pull and knife edge and behind crowd was fine. The problem that I had is that I didn't delay to account for the latency on the communication lag, so it's going to be out of sync. So that's on me. So I would give myself a. Oh boy, it's tough because I did better on that part, but worse on those. Probably averages out to like a D plus.
Oh, the joys. Yep. Alright, section high alpha. This one felt weird. The whole way. We were in a weird spot behind the crowd. I felt like I adjusted us to be in the right place, a beam of center of crowd line, but then as we were coming around the corner, even with as little pull as we had, it was too much. So we had to let out a bunch, and then our speed just sank like a rock. And I think it's because of the headwind that we had. Shifting to tailwind, it was just bleeding off more speed than I anticipated. So we had to pull up the boards mid-turn, which meant that we were in close, and so everything just was accelerated at that point, getting to the set, and then I completely blew the power setting on the set. So we had a bunch of up and down, and then you called off, and then I finally got it settled and performed the rest of the maneuver. But man, the clear was good. I'll be curious to see what the skate looks like on my clear profile, but that was kind of the only positive of this maneuver. I'll take a D on that one.
Yeah, I was able to get in the right spot pretty quickly. Coming around the corner was okay, but then once you got boards out, I couldn't pull out enough power and boards to stay in position. So I ended up kind of being a beam of you going around the corner and rolling out. I was like, oh, this could work out. But then again, I was just kind of marching ahead of you and a little high, and so I was trying to fix it. And then you pulled to the set right when I was nosing down to try and like adjust altitude and gain back some, I don't know, there's just like a variety of things that like coincided at the same time to make it difficult. I was really struggling to stay in position, to not climb relative to you, to not like fall into you, and so I was trying to adjust that and just was really struggling to do it. And then I just kept gaining altitude and gaining separation and didn't feel like I could safely do it. Didn't know where my power setting was, didn't know where the ground was, and I was like, I just need to get out of this. It's not going to get better, and it's pretty sloppy at this point. So I think just for safety's sake and for not, trying to, it just felt like I was getting deeper, digging myself deeper and deeper into a hole that I didn't know how to get out of. So I just called off. So that's a safety, and I will fix that for next time. I'm glad to be here. F.
Water.
The Wander. Come behind the crowd was fine. Turn setup was pretty good. Rollout was a little quick. Or not a little quick, it was a little slow, so you had to like go a beam, get where you needed to be, and then also pop smoke on all kind of in one smooth thing. So sorry about that. Let's see. We're fine speed wise. The hit, I think I probably didn't wait again, so that'll be, again, a matter of not being in sync, and then depending on how close you are, that can be dangerous, so that's a problem. And then also, I needed to pull to 5 degrees before I flatten it out, and I didn't do that, so we've got a little bit more altitude separation than I think we typically are looking for. I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, I give myself like a D for that.
My rejoin based upon your clear was good actually. I think since you had contact, me leveling out and just flying straight and level, and you giving me a location call actually worked out pretty well. I was able to immediately pick you up and rejoin behind the crowd for the wander. In the turn, I tried to drive it forward into close to an abeam position before he rolled out, which was a good decision because of the rollout and how quick it was. I noticed I was starting to walk away from you. I just kind of let it happen a little bit before I adjusted it, just to make sure we had some good distances. And then my pull to 10 was good, and then the turn was good. Brought that 10 back down to like 7.5 to 5, which keeps us close together in the pull behind crowd. And that was also good. And it looks fantastic on my attack view, which means the replay you're going to send me is probably not going to sync up like you said. So all in all, I'd give that one a B.
He's just basically do a aileron roll for the rejoin. Okay, interesting. Just different ways of approaching it. Okay, so the delta roll. I felt pretty okay about this one overall. I decided to give myself extra altitude so I could spot the field, and then also I could kind of roll in smoothly and point at center point and not have to do any kind of drive or anything like that. I was able to smoke on at 4 miles, start going up the hill at 3 miles, start rolling at about 1.8. I think I'm probably going to be a little early. We're supposed to be at knife edge, I think, by the time we're over center, or inverted over center point, and we are, because of the angle to the side and everything, we were behind crowd, so I think I needed to wait a little longer to go up the hill. So that's going to bring it down, but the roll rate was pretty consistent throughout, and it was right on horizon inverted. And then the rollout was a little, was pretty smooth, but I don't think I was clear on the comms. So I'll give myself a B- for that, but an improvement from the last two.
Yeah. The rejoin got a little bit ahead of you. I need to bring out more power as it came down the hill. Recognized that too late. But once I got rejoined, I was pretty solid around the hill, and a good rollout. Sank a little bit for the up we go, but didn't overreact because I knew that if I did, I'd be over your wing by the time we started the roll, and that never ends well. I caught the first 45-year roll and then forgot that it accelerates at the 45. So I got a little bit behind and flung out. I brought it back in, but then and I knew that I was going to have to adjust that. So then I brought those adjustments back out, but then it still wasn't enough because you were clearly still rolling. So then I had to bring it back in, and I got sunk underneath you, and that's when I smoked off. And I rejoined for the turn around the corner. So unfortunately, I fell out. So that would be a C minus for me.
The fleur-de-lis, I think I came back right too early and didn't bank enough and bring in enough pull. So we made the decision last time that we were going to not worry about what the follows were doing, and so halfway through that turn, I was like, I need to do these things to get back on center line. That's going to screw him up, and I decided I'm just going to do those things. I didn't even do them as aggressively as I needed to, though, so we ended up being a little inboard to outboard on that, and I didn't roll out quite early enough. So yeah, the lineup was a little weird, and we were headed outboard, which was not ideal. The actual hit and stuff was pretty far to the crowd left because I went up early. But I think we're going to clear behind crowd at a decent spot. I think we just wanted to be another like half mile further down, which would have made this behind crowd transit a little easier. I kept powering though, so that was good. Cross your nose, had to bring in out a bunch, but was able to set up for the turn. You actually got in. I didn't get low enough, so there's that. And then I also had a little bit of outboard to inboard as we were rolling out on center point to go up over the hill. The roll to each of the sets was fine. I needed to bring in more roll the second time, and I needed to start that earlier, so it probably seemed like we started rolling quicker.
Sure. That's what happened.
Seemed like you caught it. I don't know.
Nope.
But yeah, you did not. Okay. So in any event, we had conversations before where you were like, "Well, I start bringing in more roll." So I was like, "Okay, I guess that's what I'm doing." But I wasn't sure how to communicate that, and so I didn't say anything. So that's a safety, and I'll fix that for next time. Glad to be here. So yeah, fleur-de-lis, give myself C plus. No, just a flat C because we're so far right and a little bit outboard. And then the over the top rejoining thing, that's an F because of the safety.
Yeah. Coming around the corner, I was actually in a pretty good spot. We smoked off, and I decided, you started maneuvering a lot, and I was like, alright, I can do one of two things. I can make myself go crazy trying to stay in two spot, or I can make my life easier for the up we go by maneuvering to a in plane rollout line abreast spot. And I was like, I choose B. And so that's what I did. I pushed up and got into an in plane position, and then we rolled out, and I was more or less set up for the up we go. I got it nice and settled by the time you gave the hit it. I actually rolled and pushed the right amount, so we're actually level rolls and we're actually on angle and level rolls for this maneuver, which was awesome. Rolled and pulled behind crowd and remembered all your advice about speeds and stuff like that, and it looked like you kept the burners in around the corner, so you were chugging, which was great. You started to come across my nose, and I put the power in and turned earlier than I felt like I wanted to, which was exactly right. And I spent the rest of the corner coming around behind you. I think I could have cut you off a little earlier because it just took me until up we go to get settled. So definitely room for improvement there. And then the sets, I was actually a little ahead of you. Around those corners, I was actually a little on your right butt cheek the whole time instead of actually in true slot, which I think is the right place to go as far as like if you're going to bias one direction or the other. But it wasn't enough for the second one, because as that started going, he brought in a little bit more roll partway through that I didn't catch and had to pull a little bit, and it just didn't look great. But finally got into a good position for the clear, and we cleared fine. I would give myself a C. Loop break cross. Based upon where we ended up, I leveled out, and after I made all my calls, we were at 3.5, so I brought it right and yanked it in so we didn't break the box, which meant I had to ease out some pull. And then we overshot a little bit, so we ended up on that brown line going up the hill, and the rollout was a little bit snappy. We were a little slow as well as we went up the hill, and we paid for that throughout the whole rest of the maneuver. I said I was adding power, but I didn't know how to communicate that I was adding power and pull at the same time. I probably should just say adding power and then keep adding power while I add pull and just expect you to fly off of me. So I didn't follow our own advice about do what you need and make the other guy deal with it. So that's on me for that one. We went over the top of the hill at like 120 with a ton of pull in, and so that probably was fun for you. But we ended up hitting inboard of center point, so all things considered, the result was okay. And then I was just slow down the hill, and so tons of speed adjustment. Like I wasn't consistent 400 on the outbounds until the 2 mile mark. And then wasn't consistent 400 on the inbounds until the 2 mile mark as well. But the rest of the inbounds were right on 2 miles, and my altitude was descending evenly, pointed towards center point, and it looks like you made the hit work. I would give myself a C minus.
Yeah, so I did something that just looks ugly for the rejoin because I didn't know where you were. I needed to just stick with my guns and do my little corkscrew deal, which works pretty well for that rejoin. But instead, I kind of tried to find you, and then I was out pretty far to your left, and I was like, I don't know if it's gonna work, and then I didn't stick with it. So I eventually decided to do it anyway, but I was just late, and it's gonna look bad. Got in more or less on time, but it was a little loose, and then I was just a little sucked throughout the maneuver. And then I was also a little wobbly. I just wasn't really stuck in. Like the first time we did this reverse show, I think was probably the better one of these, at least for the loop part of the loop break cross, because I was actually in the whole time. Whereas this time, I considered even calling rejoin at one point because I was out enough to feel like this is just not where I want to be. Just a little. There's a little bobble at about the 60-degree up the hill point. The really slow speed over the top with a lot of pull was okay. I don't know. I was able to manage that. Like basically the second half of that loop was more or less I was in.
Good.
Fine. And I was able to catch the split. I squatted the jet a little bit more than I should have on the rollout, and because I had pulled a bunch of power out, I was slow heading outboard, or outbound, so I was just behind your distances trying to make it up. Then we went up the hill, and you got to 4Gs faster than I did. So then I brought in extra pole to try and fix it over the top and didn't quite manage it. And then I didn't get to 60 by the time you did. So I was a little bit shallow on that. But because I had traveled a little bit further outboard of my loop, it kind of worked out. And then I was just kind of managing distances on the way in and thinking about altitudes. And then once inside 2 miles, I forgot all that and just tried to follow you visually. And was just a little early on the hit. So I give myself a C minus for that maneuver as well. Okay, so, oh no, you've got the next one.
Yep. It's the Delta Breakout. This is all on feel. I've been practicing this a couple times and learned a few things about what it needs to look like and where my angles need to be. And so I gave myself a little bit of altitude to be able to figure that out and just gut felt it around the corner essentially the whole time. and I'll be honest, I blacked out a little bit in this maneuver, trying to make it work. All I know is that we rolled out with a little bit of pull coming in, and the heading tape was right on. And so I looked at where we were, and we were at 1.5. So I gave it a little pull up the hill, and we broke. I hit my numbers pretty quickly and accurately, and smoked off as we crossed the runway. So thinking back of what I can actually remember of the maneuver, I'd give myself a B minus. Yeah.
Yeah, I was carrying too much smash when I crossed behind you for the rejoin, so I was coming up behind you and just couldn't bleed it off fast enough, so I kind of go wide in the turn. But I was able to get in by the time we got to the 90, so that was fine. Realized like, man, 5 just does not fly formation a ton in this show, so I feel very rusty even at this point. Like
Yeah.
the show's about to end, and I was like, I don't really know what I'm doing. Because you have, yeah, I don't know. Usually by this point in the show, as 6, I feel like very comfortable in formation because I've been doing it for a while. But 5, I was just like, I just don't do this a lot. The rollout and comma beam, I was really struggling to stay in plane with you, and just basically got it by the time you called the split. And so I didn't roll to the angle quickly enough and gained a lot of altitude relative to you, so it's not going to look even. So I give myself an F for that. It's just like, it wasn't good. It wasn't good. I wasn't really in, and none of it looked good. Or maybe a D, because technically the maneuver happened and nothing catastrophic happened, but it's just nothing about it was to my satisfaction. The pitch up break to land. Yeah, so turn was pretty steady and consistent all the way, which was good. I didn't roll out quickly enough, so we were inboard of the turn, and I didn't give myself enough time to give the radio calls that were necessary. So there's a safety in there because you didn't have some of the information that you needed. On top of that, I was a little slow, and then I was a little low on the outbound and did not come back toward the field at the correct point. So just a little further outbound before I started turning, which is why we had an angle on the way in. The rest of it was more or less fine. Give myself a solid D minus for that, because there's just enough things that were sloppy. No, it's got to be an F because of the safety with the comms.
Yeah. Clear and rejoin were fine. I was a little bit behind you on the rejoin. It just took me a while to get in. And once I got in, it just felt like your jet was doing weird stuff. So I ended up climbing over your wing a couple times at a couple points. So that's a safety. But once we got straight and level and like more or less over the field, I was able to fly pretty solid with no bobbles. My pitch up was good, and I followed you around the corner. I believe it's going to be right around 12 seconds for the landing, so that's still within parameters. And the run out towards the end of the runway was fine as well. But because of the safeties in formation, that's also an F.
Taxi was fine. The one note I have on that is I got really slow on the 90 for the 45, and so I need to figure that out because we definitely have the right amount of speed, but then we bleed it all off in the turn.
I think you might have still had brakes in.
Okay. Yeah.
Based upon my experience behind you.
Yeah. That's probably, I haven't quite figured out, like with the Thrustmaster pedals, it's really clear when you have the brakes on or when you don't.
Yeah.
With these, because it's a little bit more gradual, sometimes I probably have a little bit of brakes in, don't realize it. So I might have to put some dead zone in, or more dead zone in if I haven't already, just to make sure that I'm not dragging the brake. Okay. Yep. That's all I got.
My taxi was the best it has been. I tried to be as smooth as possible so it doesn't look ugly on your track file, and I think I accomplished that with the exception of that turn to the 90 before the 45, where I did not anticipate you to be slowing that much, and essentially just came to a stop behind you very quickly. My 45 was good, and after you said you overshot, I tried to reference the canopies behind you. A little bit hard to do. I'll be interested to see how that looks on the tape. But yeah, that's all I got too. All right, well, let's look at the replay. Can you send me it?
Oh, right. I should have done that earlier. Rex. Wait.
DC Izzle.
The Tower Bizzle.
Oh my.
I'm gonna have to do it on the one drive again because it's too big. Where did I put these last time? So I don't remember. Yep, that's where I put it. Okay, cool. That guy. This guy there. Alright, there you go.
Perfect, thank you. Download the file to multiplayer tracks. Sweet. Saved. Replay. There it is. Dude, I gotta say, having this graphics card, not worrying about performance issues, is amazing. But that triangle right in the center of my vision actually is a problem because it messes up some of my visual references for formations.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll need to try many things.
I don't know why that's so weird.
I know, dude.
Like, I had some artifacting myself tonight, but that was because I was using the DLSS thingy.
How did that go?
It's really smooth, which is nice. There's still just the way that DCS works. There's a little hitches.
Yep.
In just the way that like as you're turning.
Yep.
The angles, it feels like it's very digital.
Yep.
But the performance was very smooth. The one thing is that because it's doing frame generation essentially, you get what kind of feels like it gets watery with some of the details. It was only the most noticeable. It was only noticeable to me during taxi when we were looking at like the fence in the background or like the grass or stuff like that. I didn't typically notice it when we were flying.
I could do 10x
probably
now.
Nice. You probably would notice it if you if we watched the track back or the stream back or whatever. But I don't think I didn't notice it when I was flying, I guess is what I'm going to say.
We'll do 4x taxiing. So we can see a little bit of what happened. Without having to watch the whole taxi. Yeah, that's more smooth.
Good work.
Didn't realize how awful it looked before. I was just focusing on being in the right spot and not like making it look smooth.
Well, you probably have never had to.
No.
I didn't realize that until we did the first river show. You said like I've never formation taxied before.
Yep.
I was like, whoa.
Not once.
Because I had formation taxied for 3 years.
Oh yeah, that was something that happened. We turned at different rates. I should probably be lower, but it's fine for this maneuver.
Yeah, I got a little. Forgot about that. Soon enough.
You're still burning.
Yeah, like I said, I was all over the place in this one. You got vapors on that last bit.
Yep.
Careful. I don't usually
Sorry, what?
I usually don't have enough speed to afford to pull enough for a vapor at that point.
Alright, let's descend here. Near. Perfect. You get to enjoy being the center of attention today.
Last time for a while. Trying to enjoy it even though it was not my best work.
Low. Alright.
Overroll. Underroll. Ugh.
Whoa. Earlier than I anticipated.
Because I rolled the other direction than I normally do. No mess with it at all. Good hit.
Called it. It's funny, I can see in your jet the little hesitations.
This is a little unfair.
I mean, if you want me to watch me, I can't. We could do that.
No. It's just... Yeah. One of the frustrations that I have had is that, like, we don't watch my clears very often. Because we're always watching your, like, 5. And now we get to do that, but also this is my sloppiest flying.
Yeah.
Good match. Yep. Well done. Yeah, a little too much work to get it settled there.
Yeah, I dropped back too far.
Positioning looked good up to that point, though.
Forgive me as I try to do all my switches. You'll hear it in the recording.
Oh, hey, the timing worked.
Yeah, good job.
Yeah, no, I know that feeling. 'Cause you're like trying to jockey with the power and hit the switches.
Yeah, it's important to remember that I have a side stick, so I can't like brace it on anything.
Oh, I don't take my hand off the stick usually. I didn't bring enough pull.
Yep. Oh, and you kept... Okay. That's why you had so much speed. You didn't pull across the show line.
I did.
Okay.
Just didn't pull it early enough. It was like the last 5 degrees. It needs to be the 45 degrees.
Yep.
And I realized that I was like coming back to show line because I was trying to figure out like where's center point and watching my speed really closely, and I was like, oh shoot, I need to be pulling. It's too late.
Yeah, that maneuver happens so fast.
Yep.
Alright. Yeah, there's that. The 12 knot wind had an effect today. Right over center point. Very nice, very nice. Not quite low enough.
Yep. Altitude was good though. Or not altitude, but like split. I could be a little closer, but. Yeah.
Yes, I hit the right altitude. Stoked about that. I was watching. We were coming into the box, and I was like, "Oh shoot, I'm low." Tweaking it last second.
Yeah. It's crazy. Just use. It sounds stupid, but like the mental energy it required to not transmit when I'm not supposed to was enough to like prevent me from being able to like do a clean clear.
I get that. Horizontal rolls. On altitude.
Yep. Ah, just a little roll there.
There's the cloud.
I did notice it earlier, and I was trying to find a time to communicate that, but I never did. I would forget in between, like, oh, there's a cloud here, and then like 2 seconds later,
Oh, I see.
behind the show.
Yeah. 5. Usually, as soon as we clear from the horizontals, I pull directly to the crowd left heading, and then do a nose drop in. Matched hits.
Nice.
Literally at the same time.
Yeah.
Starting to get a little floppy. We're good. Definitely needed the burners this time. Nice. Yeah. That was good. Yep. I could tell as we were doing this whole show that like you were doing better than you had as far as like the comms and leadership aspect. Yeah, low, I knew it.
Yeah, boy, I didn't hit any of those angles right. Jeez. Overroll.
That was a good one.
Underroll.
No, you got there.
Yeah. It is kind of cool. Again, when it's your track file, you can actually like it's very
Very
you
precise.
actually hit
Yeah.
the angles.
Uh-huh.
It's nice. Whereas like you don't get that at all.
Vertical pitch. Little high. All right. I could tell I was going to be at about a quarter mile, and I was like, don't have time to fix it now.
I didn't roll enough. Just a little under-rolled, so I went outboard. Dang it.
There's the cloud, that's why I couldn't see you.
Yeah, I keep forgetting to put any drive in that roll to keep me from going outboard. I know to do it rolling the other direction. Late. 5 left. Narrow turn.
Whoa, there he is. Missed
Yeah.
him.
That was not a good redirect.
Yeah, I should have just pulled this and had us have an angle. Matched rolls, nice. There's the classic 6 adjustment there. He'll get there, I know he will.
Time.
Almost.
Called the headlight. Which I appreciated because I was able to get in. If you called it on center point, I would have been way behind you. Yeah, and I just didn't time it at all.
Yeah, the funny thing is that the timing for that is essentially stand by, roll, roll. It's like that late.
You know, it's funny you mention that because I can hear it in your comps. Sometimes you exhale.
Yep.
Yeah, I just never was in. Like wallowing around trying to find it.
Yeah, the trick, once you notice that you're wallowing, is to like, you gotta, and this just takes practice, is you have to like find neutral for yourself and then work it back in, and that can sometimes be a nightmare. Because neutral for yourself might mean diverging flight paths. Tailwind, high alpha, wee. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Cool. A wonder. Well, you went back to flat, didn't you? Okay.
It's just not like I need to go up to 5 degrees and just stabilize it.
Watch me tumble. This one's a little bit of a party.
because like of the way lead doesn't have to change their bank angle or anything,
Yep.
but there's all this stuff that changes with the weight transfer and the lift transfer.
Yep.
and-
I did it fine last time. This time I just got behind it a little bit.
Well, it really depends, at least for me, when I'm playing that position where I am, like what kind of corrections I'm having to make right before that moment
Yep.
happens. Because if I had to fix something like
Yep.
within the second or so before it happens, there's like no way you're gonna catch it.
Match rolls, nice. Oh, no wonder the turn was so tight.
Yeah. I did it.
We're like
a mile early.
quarter mile, like half mile left.
Yep.
Okay. I was like, I don't remember the turn being this tight. So it's coming around. I'm happy for it though, because that meant that I had more time to get in. There's the extra juice. It's a very boss, early season boss rollout for the loop break cross. Coming at some crazy angle, I'm just like, here's the ball rolling out, let's go!
There it is. There's that 63.
Yep.
Yes.
Late again. Alright. It's really hard to read it, dude. When you're going that slow.
I actually tend to do it just a little bit early
Uh-huh.
because by the time you account for the latency thing and other stuff like that, you kind of need to do that.
You're probably right. I should have done that. Alright, folks. Watch and learn.
I'm early. Don't learn from this.
You're not that early.
One left.
I have done way worse than that, my friend. Recently. Stress not. That was a good one. You did well.
I will say flying visually for the last 2 miles is the way to go. Like if you're in the ballpark, then you can just basically do it on site.
Mm-hmm.
So the first show I did that and was pretty close. The second show I didn't and it was way off.
Look at that.
Nice.
Little overroll, but I'll take it.
Yeah, this could match your.
Oh, it's right there. Like, one right.
Again, I think I've done it twice in 3 years.
Mic cam. Meerp. 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 More or less, right? Yeah. There he is. Coming in for a landing. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 seconds. I'll take it. Why did you turn your smoke on there?
Because I thought it was on. I looked in
Oh.
my mirrors and it looked like there was smoke on. Like there was just a little foggy in the mirrors. I was like, "Am my smoke still on?" Were you half flaps
For what?
for that landing?
Always.
Oh, interesting. I always go full flaps. Should I be half flaps?
I don't... You can try it. I don't know if it's...
I have done full flaps for as long as I can remember.
Huh. So I've been doing half flaps for a while, ever since that we noticed that there's that, like, climb moment in the turn when we do full flaps.
Yeah, well, I'll try half flaps next time. See what that's like.
You won't have as much lift as you're used to.
That's fine.
Oh, watching the wrong person. There we go. Yeah, my taxiing was actually good this time. Awesome.
Yep, well done. Good adjustment. Where's this?
Watch me tumble! Brakes! Oh, I undershot it a little bit. Bummer.
So between the two of us. Alright.
Alright. That's it. Alright, folks. That's the last time we're doing that for a while. Yeah, it's time for us to spin the wheel of what in the show are we doing next.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Don't forget to stream it.
There it is. The first time I've streamed this in a while. Look, Palm Jameer is on the list. What if that's the next one? That'd be amazing. All right, here we go. Looks like it's gonna be Acrotiri.
That's a good show site.
It is. Yeah. Oh, Acrotiri. Thank you. Thank you, random voice bot man. Remove, shuffle. Oh, swap roles needs to get removed as well, so I'll do that in a second. But thank you everyone for joining us, and we'll see you next time out. Bye.